Hey guys, welcome back to Meghan Grace DIY. This video is part of my Back to Basics series where I take one technique and I focus on it so that way you can use it in a larger project. We're going to go over how to make rolled ties today. A rolled tie is a piece of fabric that's folded in fours and then sewn down one side. We use them when we're tying something closed, and we've probably seen them very oftenly used in the masks that have been made recently to tie in the back of our heads. It's a very useful skill to have on hand. I'm going to demonstrate for you today how to make a 1/4 inch wide rolled tie and a 1/2 inch wide rolled tie. Your rule of thumb with making rolled ties is you're going to start with a width of fabric that is 4 times as large as however wide you want your tie to be finished. So that first smaller piece was 1 inch wide and it's going to finish out at a 1/4 inch, and my larger piece is 2 inches wide and it's going to finish out at 1/2 inch. Once we have the width and the length cut of the tie we want to make, we're going to start by pressing it folded in half. We're doing this so we can mark the center, or in this case, a 1 inch line on our tie. Now I'll repeat the same step with my smaller piece. Once both pieces have been pressed in half, you're going to open it up and you're going to take each side and press it in halfway. So for the 2 inch wide piece, we're pressing in about a 1/2 inch. We're going to go ahead, press that flat, and you may end up losing some of that center line press. That's okay. We're going to press that back in as our final step. I know some people are skilled enough to skip the pressing part, but I found that even with the skill level I have, pressing something before I sew it, it always comes out better. Once we finish pressing in one side, we're going to flip it around and we're going to press in the other side. For whatever reason, it's more comfortable for me to have the folded side on the right, but that might be because I'm right-handed. It might be easier for you to press over from the left. The tie I'm using as an example here is actually part of my apron project and is significantly longer than you can see in the video, so I'm just using it as an example. But once I've got both sides pressed in, I'm going to fold in half again, and I'm going to press the entire thing flat. So see how now I'm down to about a 1/2 inch. I'm going to open this up one more time for you just so you can see how the folding works. It folds in from each side and then folds in half. And when we bring this to the sewing machine, our goal is to sew right along the folded edge. And you're always going to have one edge that's folded just shorter than the other. We want to sew on that shorter edge rather than the longer edge. I'm going to repeat the steps with my smaller piece. Now, I know it can be much more difficult sewing with smaller pieces. I've sewn with many, and I'm still getting the hang of it. My biggest advice to you would be to take your time, watch your fingers, and make sure that your fingers don't get close to the iron. One of my friends told me it makes her nervous to watch my videos and see how close my fingers get to an iron, but I likened it to like a top chef who, when you see them chopping an onion, their fingers look really close to the knife, but they're so experienced that they're just used to doing it that way. I folded both sides in successfully, and now I'm doing that final press where I fold it in half. I'm going to place it on the ruler so you can see I'm right about at a 1/4 inch. It came out nice and straight and clean. And I'm going to unfold it for you so you can see the folding pattern again. We have one fold line down the middle, and then we have a fold line on each side, creating 4 equal portions. And same as with the larger piece, when we go to sew, we're going to sew right along the edge. When we sew, we want to make sure that we capture both sides of the folded fabric. From this angle, you should be able to see that I'm sewing right against the right edge. I'm sewing close enough to the edge that it's nice and neat, but far enough in that I'm capturing both sides of the fold. And here's my finished 1/4 inch tie sample. I probably could have sewed at a stitch length of 2 instead of 3, but either is fine. And look how it's nice and neat, and it's at that really nice straight 1/4 inch line mark. Now let's sew our 1/2 inch tie. I'm showing you from a bit of a different angle so you can see how I place it underneath the sewing machine. And anything over a 1/2 inch is going to be significantly easier than that smaller piece I showed you first. And now we can see the view from above where you can see how I'm sewing right against that right-hand side again. I'm capturing both sides of the fold, so this tie is now closed instead of being able to be unfolded. And I'm keeping it nice, neat, straight, and I'm backstitching at the end. And our final product is a beautiful tie for whatever our project requires. In this case, this is the tie for the back of my apron to tie it closed. But you can use ties in a variety of situations. See that? Creating rolled ties is simple and satisfying. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and your stop by Meghan Grace DIY. If you haven't already, please check out my other Back to Basics series videos that show you some basic tools of sewing and also some of the bigger tutorials that I offer on my channel. And if you like my content, please feel free to subscribe. Right now, I'm working towards 5,000 subscribers and I'll be giving away a sewing kit when I hit that number. Please feel free to leave any comments, questions, or concerns in the comment section below, and you can email me at meghangracediy@gmail.com. And as always, happy sewing!